If fasting feels impossible or isn't working, the problem isn't willpower. It's your gut. The real driver behind whether intermittent fasting melts fat or leaves you stuck is the state of your microbiome. This community of trillions of bacteria doesn't just digest food. It sets the rules for cravings, energy, inflammation, and even how your body handles fasting windows. If the microbiome is balanced, fasting feels natural, hunger signals are stable, and fat burning switches on. But when the gut is damaged from processed foods, antibiotics, or chronic stress, intermittent fasting can actually backfire. Instead of burning fat, you may feel fatigued, crave sugar, and hold on to belly fat. This is why so many people say, I tried fasting, but it didn't work for me. It's not that fasting is broken. It's that your microbiome isn't ready. Research shows that healthy gut bacteria help regulate hormones like insulin and leptin, which control appetite and fat storage. They also reduce inflammation, which is key for unlocking stubborn visceral fat. If these bacteria are missing, fasting feels like a battle against your own biology. So before you blame yourself, remember, your microbiome sets the stage. Restore gut health, and intermittent fasting stops being a struggle. It becomes effortless. You'll notice fewer cravings, less bloating, steady energy, and real fat loss. In fact, healing your gut might be the most powerful weight loss tool you never considered. And here's where we start. The first step is understanding how gut health and fasting are directly connected, why the state of your microbiome decides if fasting works for you or against you. When people think about intermittent fasting, they often assume it's just about willpower, pushing through hunger and waiting for the eating window. But the truth is, whether fasting feels smooth or like torture depends largely on the state of your gut microbiome. This microscopic ecosystem directly influences how your body regulates blood sugar, processes energy, and unlocks fat for fuel. In other words, a healthy microbiome determines whether fasting becomes a natural rhythm that enhances fat burning or a constant uphill struggle that leaves you tired, hungry, and frustrated. When your gut is thriving, intermittent fasting feels easier. Beneficial bacteria help stabilize blood sugar by breaking down fiber into short-chain fatty acids like butyrate. These compounds feed the gut lining, reduce inflammation, and help your body become more sensitive to insulin. That means during a fasting window, blood sugar stays stable rather than crashing, so cravings don't spiral out of control. At the same time, insulin levels remain lower, which unlocks fat stores for energy. This is the magic of gut health intermittent fasting. Your microbiome works with you, not against you. Contrast this with what happens when the microbiome is damaged. If your gut bacteria are out of balance from processed foods, antibiotics, or chronic stress, the result is unstable blood sugar and poor insulin sensitivity. Instead of fat burning, your body clings to glucose for quick fuel, leaving you shaky, irritable, and craving sugar as soon as you start fasting. This explains why many people say fasting doesn't work or only makes them feel worse. The issue isn't the fasting itself, it's that their microbiome is sabotaging metabolism at every turn. Inflammation plays a huge role here. A healthy microbiome keeps the gut lining intact, reducing inflammation throughout the body. When this balance is lost, leaky gut and chronic inflammation become the norm. That inflammation interferes with the very processes fasting is meant to improve, like metabolic flexibility and fat burning. Instead of tapping into stored fat, your body remains stuck in survival mode, clinging to belly fat and slowing metabolism. It's why two people can follow the same fasting protocol, but get completely different results. One thrives and loses weight, the other struggles and plateaus, all because of the health of their microbiome. The microbiome fasting benefits extend beyond just weight loss. A balanced gut also improves mitochondrial efficiency, your cell's ability to produce energy. This makes fasting feel energizing rather than draining. It also supports satiety hormones like leptin and ghrelin, which regulate hunger cues. With a strong microbiome, ghrelin signals rise and fall appropriately, so hunger during fasting windows is mild and manageable. With a damaged gut, ghrelin becomes dysregulated and you feel ravenous even after eating. So if fasting feels impossible, it's not that you lack discipline, it's that your microbiome is out of sync with your fasting metabolism. By repairing the gut, you allow fasting to do what it's designed to do: lower insulin, reduce inflammation, and unlock stored fat. Restoring the microbiome shifts fasting from being a fight against cravings to being a state of balance and clarity. The key takeaway is simple: Intermittent fasting isn't just about the clock, it's about your gut. When you restore microbial diversity, nourish beneficial bacteria, and calm inflammation, fasting becomes the powerful metabolic tool it's meant to be. Without gut health, fasting can feel like a constant battle. With gut health, it feels effortless and effective, turning your microbiome into the ultimate ally for weight loss, energy, and long-term health. One of the most overlooked reasons why fasting feels so difficult or fails to deliver results is an unhealthy microbiome. If you've ever wondered why your cravings won't stop, why bloating lingers even during fasting windows, or why belly fat won't budge, the answer may not be the fasting schedule itself, but the state of your gut. The signs of an unhealthy microbiome are often written all over your daily experience, and recognizing them is the first step to fixing the root cause. Constant cravings are one of the most obvious signals. A healthy microbiome helps regulate appetite by supporting the production of short-chain fatty acids and keeping hunger hormones like ghrelin and leptin in balance. When the microbiome is damaged, harmful bacteria and yeast begin to dominate. These organisms thrive on sugar and refined carbs, and they send powerful signals to the brain that drive cravings. This is why you might feel an overwhelming pull towards sweets or snacks, even when you're committed to fasting. If fasting feels impossible because you're battling constant hunger pangs, it's a red flag that your gut environment is working against you. Bloating is another key sign. Ideally, intermittent fasting should give your digestive system a rest and reduce symptoms like gas or abdominal discomfort. But when the microbiome is out of balance, fermentation in the gut increases, leading to bloating that doesn't go away. This happens because unhealthy bacteria break down food in a way that produces excessive gas. Instead of feeling light and clear while fasting, you feel uncomfortable, heavy, and sluggish. This undermines the very benefits fasting is meant to deliver. Fatigue is equally telling. Many people expect fasting to boost energy and mental clarity once the body adapts to burning fat. But when gut health is poor, blood sugar swings become extreme. Instead of smooth energy, you get peaks and crashes that leave you exhausted. The microbiome influences mitochondrial function, the way your cells produce energy. A damaged microbiome means your cells aren't making fuel efficiently, so fasting feels draining rather than energizing. If you find yourself needing coffee after coffee just to get through a fasting window, that's another warning sign. Mood swings also point to deeper gut problems. The microbiome is a major player in producing neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which stabilize mood and motivation. When the microbiome is disrupted, it sends stress signals through the gut-brain axis, contributing to irritability, anxiety, or low mood. During fasting, these imbalances become more obvious. Instead of feeling focused and calm, you may feel irritable, short-tempered, or emotionally unstable. This makes it even harder to stick to your fasting routine. And then there's stubborn belly fat. Many people turn to fasting specifically to shrink visceral fat, the dangerous fat around the organs. But if your microbiome is unhealthy, inflammation becomes chronic, and the hormonal environment favors fat storage rather than fat burning. Elevated cortisol, insulin resistance, and systemic inflammation all act like roadblocks. You may be fasting consistently but still holding on to belly fat, which feels frustrating and discouraging. This is one of the clearest signs that the issue isn't fasting itself, but the condition of your microbiome. Put all of this together, and it becomes clear why so many people say fasting not working when they try it. The cravings, the bloating, the fatigue, the mood swings, and the stubborn weight are not failures of discipline, but signs of unhealthy microbiome function. These gut problems sabotage fasting from the inside out, making it nearly impossible to experience the benefits. The good news is that these symptoms aren't random. They're your body's way of signaling that the gut needs repair. Once you address the microbiome by reducing processed foods, feeding beneficial bacteria, and healing the gut lining, the entire fasting experience transforms. Hunger stabilizes, energy returns, mood improves, and fat loss finally becomes possible. Instead of fighting your body during fasting, you'll feel like your biology is finally working with you. Recognizing these signs is the first step towards shifting fasting from a struggle into a sustainable and powerful tool for weight loss and health. If fasting leaves you constantly battling hunger or reaching for snacks the moment your eating window opens, the missing piece might not be discipline, but food quality, specifically the lack of prebiotics and fiber in your diet. Beneficial gut bacteria need fuel to thrive, and the best source of that fuel is fiber-rich prebiotic foods. Without them, your microbiome becomes weak, cravings intensify, and fasting feels like a grind. But when you deliberately nourish your gut with these foods, fasting transforms into an easier, more sustainable practice that truly supports weight loss and energy. Prebiotics are a type of fiber that humans can't digest, but our gut bacteria can. They act as fertilizer for beneficial microbes, helping them grow stronger and outcompete harmful bacteria. When you eat foods like onions, garlic, leeks, asparagus, flaxseed, and chia seeds, you're not just feeding yourself, you're feeding the trillions of bacteria that regulate blood sugar, appetite, and metabolism. This is where prebiotics fasting becomes powerful. A gut rich in good bacteria produces short-chain fatty acids like butyrate and acetate, which strengthen the gut lining, reduce inflammation, and keep blood sugar stable. The result is fewer cravings, smoother energy, and a more efficient fasting metabolism. Take onions and garlic, for example. These are rich in inulin, a prebiotic fiber that selectively feeds beneficial species like bifidobacteria. Regularly including them in your meals improves satiety signals. So during fasting windows, your hunger is mild rather than overwhelming. Leeks and asparagus work similarly, providing fermentable fibers that enhance microbial diversity and help regulate appetite hormones. When these foods become staples, the gut is better equipped to handle the longer stretches without food that fasting requires. Seeds like flax and chia add another layer of support. Not only are they rich in prebiotic fiber, but they also contain omega-3 fats that calm inflammation. This combination is critical for fasting success. By reducing inflammatory signals, these foods make it easier for the body to switch into fat burning mode rather than staying locked in a sugar burning cycle. Plus, the gel-like texture of chia seeds, when hydrated, helps slow digestion and keeps you feeling fuller for longer after meals, reducing the temptation to overeat once your fasting window ends. This connection between fiber gut health and fasting outcomes can't be overstated. Fiber feeds the microbiome, which in turn regulates satiety hormones like leptin and ghrelin. When the gut is well fed, ghrelin spikes are blunted, meaning hunger comes on gently rather than urgently. At the same time, leptin sensitivity improves, so the body accurately signals when you've had enough food. This makes fasting feel natural. You simply don't think about food as often, and when you do eat, smaller portions satisfy you. It's important to understand that not all fibers are equal. Highly processed fiber supplements don't offer the same range of benefits as whole food sources. Real plant foods provide not just fiber, but also polyphenols, antioxidants, and other compounds that feed a diverse range of gut microbes. This diversity is what ensures stability during fasting. The more species of beneficial bacteria you cultivate, the more resilient your metabolism becomes, and the less fasting feels like a battle. Another overlooked benefit of prebiotic-rich foods is their effect on cravings. Many people trying fasting complain of intense sugar cravings. This often stems from a gut microbiome dominated by yeast and harmful bacteria that thrive on sugar. By regularly consuming prebiotics, you tip the balance back toward beneficial microbes. Over time, these microbes crowd out the sugar-loving strains and cravings naturally diminish. Instead of relying on willpower, you'll notice your taste buds shift toward enjoying whole, nourishing foods. In practice, building meals that support foods for microbiome fasting is simple. Add raw onion or garlic to salads, roast asparagus as a side dish, stir chopped leeks into soups, and sprinkle chia or flax into smoothies or yogurt. These small changes consistently feed your gut bacteria, creating a healthier microbial environment day by day. The end result is fasting that feels lighter, more stable, and more effective. With cravings reduced, satiety improved, and inflammation lowered, you no longer feel like you're fighting against your biology. Instead, fasting becomes aligned with your gut health, giving you steady energy, better digestion, and easier fat loss. Prebiotics and fiber aren't just side notes in a diet. They are the foundation that makes intermittent fasting truly work. One of the most powerful but often overlooked ways to improve fasting results is by adding more polyphenol, rich and antioxidant-rich foods to your diet. These compounds, found in plants, act as protectors for your gut microbiome. They reduce oxidative stress, calm inflammation, and create a healthier environment where beneficial bacteria can thrive. When the gut is protected in this way, fasting becomes far more effective, helping the body burn fat, regulate blood sugar, and sustain energy without constant cravings or crashes. Polyphenols are natural plant chemicals that interact directly with gut bacteria. Instead of being fully absorbed in the small intestine, many polyphenols travel to the colon, where gut microbes break them down into bioactive compounds. These compounds then feed beneficial bacteria while suppressing harmful ones. In other words, polyphenols act like selective nourishment, giving good microbes the upper hand. This explains why people who eat a diet rich in polyphenols tend to have higher microbial diversity, a key marker of strong gut health. When paired with fasting, this microbial balance enhances fat metabolism and appetite regulation, turning intermittent fasting into a smoother process. Take berries, for example. Blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries are loaded with anthocyanins, a type of polyphenol that reduces gut inflammation and supports beneficial species like Akkermansia, which is linked to better insulin sensitivity and leaner body composition. Adding berries to your eating window doesn't just give you antioxidants. It actively restores microbiome balance, making fasting more sustainable. Green tea is another powerful ally. Rich in catechins like EGCG, green tea support oxidation during fasting while also feeding gut bacteria that produce short-chain fatty acids. These compounds lower inflammation, stabilize blood sugar, and improve fasting energy. Drinking green tea during a fasting window without added sweeteners provides both direct antioxidant benefits and microbiome support, making it one of the best antioxidants fasting strategies. Olive oil also plays a key role. Extra virgin olive oil contains polyphenols such as hydroxytyrosol and oleuropein, which act as both antioxidants and prebiotics. They feed beneficial bacteria and protect against oxidative stress in the gut lining. This dual action strengthens the microbiome's resilience during fasting, preventing inflammation that might otherwise block fat burning. Just a tablespoon of high-quality olive oil daily has been shown to promote microbial diversity and reduce markers of gut inflammation. Raw cacao is another underestimated food for microbiome restoration. Rich in flavonoids, cacao promotes the growth of bifidobacteria and lactobacilli, two of the most important species for gut health. At the same time, it reduces levels of harmful bacteria associated with inflammation. Including small amounts of raw cacao or dark chocolate, 85% or higher, in your eating window adds a microbiome-friendly boost that makes fasting easier to sustain over time. Herbs and spices are equally valuable. Polyphenol-rich seasonings like rosemary, oregano, turmeric, and cinnamon deliver concentrated antioxidant power. They not only protect the gut lining from oxidative damage, but also shift the microbial balance toward health, promoting species. Turmeric's curcumin, for instance, has been shown to lower inflammatory pathways in the gut, while cinnamon helps regulate blood sugar, reducing the risk of fasting-related energy crashes. The synergy between antioxidants and the microbiome is especially important when fasting. Fasting naturally induces mild oxidative stress as the body shifts from glucose to fat burning. In small amounts, this stress is beneficial because it activates repair pathways like autophagy. But when the microbiome is damaged, oxidative stress can become excessive, leading to fatigue, brain fog, and plateaus in fat loss. This is where antioxidants step in. By neutralizing excess free radicals, polyphenols ensure that fasting's natural stress remains in the beneficial zone rather than tipping into harm. This combination of fasting and polyphenol intake creates a cycle of reinforcement. Fasting improves gut permeability and insulin sensitivity, while polyphenols feed and protect the bacteria that maintain those improvements. Together, they create a gut environment that is calm, diverse, and metabolically flexible. Instead of struggling through fasting windows with cravings or discomfort, you experience steady energy, clearer thinking, and easier fat burning. Practical ways to apply this include starting your eating window with a handful of berries, cooking with extra virgin olive oil, sipping green tea during the day, sprinkling herbs like oregano and rosemary onto meals, and adding raw cacao to smoothies or snacks. These are all simple but powerful foods to restore microbiome that align perfectly with a fasting lifestyle. The bottom line is that polyphenols and antioxidants don't just protect your cells, they restore the gut ecosystem that determines whether fasting works for you or against you. By intentionally choosing these foods, you not only reduce inflammation and oxidative stress, but also create a thriving microbiome that makes fasting effortless, effective, and enjoyable. When intermittent fasting isn't delivering results, it's often because the gut hasn't been healed first. Fasting itself can be a powerful tool for repair, but only if it's combined with lifestyle habits that restore the microbiome and reduce stress on the digestive system. Approaching fasting as part of a gut healing strategy transforms it from a short-term weight loss attempt into a sustainable system for long-term energy, balance, and fat burning. The key is to use specific methods like time, restricted eating, extended fasting cycles, gut healing foods, stress management, and sleep optimization to create an environment where beneficial bacteria can thrive. Time-restricted eating is one of the simplest ways to support time-restricted eating gut health. By keeping your eating window to 8-10 hours a day, you give your gut 14-16 hours of rest. This break from digestion reduces inflammation, allows the gut lining to repair, and encourages microbial diversity. When you consistently follow time-restricted eating, your gut bacteria adapt to a predictable rhythm, strengthening circadian alignment and improving metabolic health. Over time, this makes fasting feel easier and weight loss more natural. Extended fasting cycles add another layer of gut healing. A 24-hour fast done occasionally or a 4-8-hour fast a few times per year gives the gut microbiome a powerful reset. During longer fasts, bad bacteria that thrive on sugar and processed food lose their food supply, while beneficial species become more dominant. Extended fasting also stimulates autophagy, the body's cellular recycling system, which helps repair damaged gut cells and restore a stronger intestinal barrier. For those who struggle with bloating, cravings, or leaky gut, periodic extended fasting can be transformative. Supporting fasting with gut healing foods is equally important. Bone broth provides amino acids like glutamine that directly nourish the intestinal lining. It also delivers minerals and collagen that reduce inflammation and strengthen gut integrity. Fermented foods such as sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, and plain yogurt introduce live probiotics into the system, replenishing beneficial bacteria that fasting alone cannot supply. By combining fasting with these foods, you both starve out harmful microbes and reseed the gut with healthier strains. This combination is one of the most effective ways to restore microbiome naturally. The stress reduction is another critical piece of the gut healing puzzle. Chronic stress increases cortisol, which disrupts the gut barrier, reduces microbial diversity, and makes fasting harder by spiking cravings and blood sugar. Practices like meditation, deep breathing, and gentle movement help regulate cortisol, keeping the gut-brain axis calm and balanced. When stress is managed, fasting stops feeling like a fight against your body and instead becomes a state of calm clarity. Sleep optimization often gets overlooked, yet it may be the most underrated gut healing tool. Poor sleep disrupts circadian rhythms, increases gut permeability, and reduces the population of beneficial microbes. Just one night of poor rest can make fasting feel more difficult, with stronger cravings and lower energy. Prioritizing 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night allows the microbiome to reset and align with your body's natural fasting fueling cycles. A well-rested gut supports better hormone regulation, making fasting smoother and more effective for fat loss. Together, these gut healing fasting strategies create a system where the microbiome can flourish. Time-restricted eating provides consistency, extended fasts offer deep resets, bone broth and fermented foods deliver nourishment, stress reduction calms the gut-brain connection, and sleep solidifies the rhythm. Each piece works synergistically to repair the gut lining, restore microbial diversity, and reduce inflammation, the foundations of sustained health and weight loss. The benefits extend far beyond just weight management. When the gut heals, energy stabilizes, mood improves, cravings diminish, and the entire fasting process feels natural. Instead of willpower, you're guided by biology working as it should. Over time, these strategies don't just make fasting more effective, they transform it into a lifestyle that restores the gut, balances hormones, and supports lifelong vitality. Healing the gut with fasting-friendly methods is the bridge between short-term dieting and long-term metabolic freedom. When people first try intermittent fasting, the results can be very different. Some feel energized, lighter, and see the weight dropping off. while others feel drained, constantly hungry, and stuck with belly fat that refuses to move. The difference usually comes down to one thing: the state of the microbiome. When the gut is repaired and thriving, fasting works exactly as it should. When the microbiome is damaged, fasting feels like punishment with little to show for it. Restoring the gut is what unlocks fasting's real power. Repairing the microbiome means lowering inflammation, one of the biggest roadblocks to weight loss. Chronic inflammation, often caused by leaky gut and imbalanced bacteria, blocks fat burning and encourages fat storage, especially around the belly. Once the microbiome is restored, inflammation calms down. This reduces bloating, eases digestive discomfort, and allows the body to finally let go of visceral fat. Many people notice that as gut health improves, fasting belly fat success becomes possible. The waistline starts shrinking without the struggle they had before. Hormones are another critical link. Healthy gut bacteria regulate insulin, leptin, and ghrelin, the key players in appetite, metabolism, and fat storage. When these hormones are balanced, blood sugar stays stable, cravings fade, and hunger becomes manageable during fasting. Instead of feeling desperate for food, you feel satisfied with less and naturally eat within your fasting window. Restoring microbial balance is what transforms fasting from a willpower battle into an easy routine you barely have to think about. This is why people often describe fasting becoming effortless once their gut health improves. The energy shift is another clear result. Poor gut health often means poor mitochondrial function, leading to fatigue and brain fog. By repairing the microbiome, short-chain fatty acids and antioxidants fuel the gut lining and mitochondria more effectively, boosting cellular energy. During fasting, this translates to mental clarity, sharper focus, and steady stamina throughout the day. Instead of dragging through the fasting hours, you feel light and productive. This is one of the most noticeable changes that comes with Restore Microbiome fasting results. Energy is no longer something you chase with caffeine. It becomes a natural byproduct of your body running smoothly. Easier fat burning is the ultimate outcome. With reduced inflammation and balanced insulin, your body can finally access stored fat for fuel. This metabolic flexibility is what makes fasting so effective for long-term weight loss. But it only happens when the microbiome is in good shape. If the gut is inflamed and insulin resistant, fasting leads to stress, cravings, and stalled progress. But with a healthy microbiome, fasting accelerates fat burning while preserving lean muscle. This is why gut health weight loss strategies are now seen as the foundation for sustainable fat loss rather than a side note. Another long-term benefit is that restoring the microbiome makes fasting sustainable. Anyone can push through hunger for a week or two, but lasting weight loss requires a lifestyle that feels natural. By fixing the gut, fasting becomes less about discipline and more about alignment with your biology. You eat less because you're satisfied, not because you're forcing restriction. You burn fat because your metabolism is flexible, not because you're depriving yourself. This shift is what allows fasting to work not just for a month, but for years. The combination of more energy, reduced cravings, balanced mood, and steady fat loss makes restoring the microbiome the hidden key to fasting success. It explains why some people thrive while others struggle. Once the gut is healed, fasting stops being a question of, can I do this? And becomes an automatic rhythm that supports health, energy, and body composition. In the end, repairing your microbiome doesn't just make fasting easier. It makes it more effective. The inflammation that blocked fat loss is gone. The hormones that controlled cravings are balanced. The fatigue that made fasting unbearable is replaced with vitality. The belly fat that seemed impossible to lose finally begins to shrink. By restoring gut health, fasting shifts from being a temporary diet hack to a powerful, lifelong tool for weight loss, energy, and metabolic health. This is the real result of putting the microbiome first.